Hello, welcome to Fishing Live. It's a lovely, mild Friday afternoon and it seemed rude not to come out and catch a few fish and give you your weekly fishing forecast. So all we're doing this afternoon is a touch of pellet fishing basically. We're using our Fuka 2-in-1 micros on the hook and we're feeding a combination of Fuka bait, micros and ground bait, and the aim is to push some skimmers and carp down to the bottom and catch a few, and up to now it's working really well. So we'll try and catch one and then we'll give you your forecast. Let's have a look at what I'm doing. So all we've got is a nice light float, 4x12s float there, a couple of back shot above it. It's 011 main line and a little strung bulk of number 9 shot just to cock the float. Short little hook length, only 4 inches. And all we're doing, we're putting one of the Fuka 2-in-1 micros on the hook. And importantly, we're not hooking it too deeply, we're only really nicking it on, and the reason for that is we want to leave plenty of hook exposed, so if a fish takes that bait, we're definitely going to hook him. Now I have been feeding periodically through the kinder pot as well with a combination of, I've got some normal Willy Worms method micros there, which are a copping or a skretting micro they are. And then I've got some of our Fuka 2-in-1 micros as well. I'm just feeding a combination. When the swim goes quiet, which to be honest, it hasn't really yet, I'm going to feed a little nugget of ground bait too. That's a Win-Win AU ground bait. But up to now, I've just been potting in the pellets because I fed a little nugget of the ground bait at the start. And to be honest, there's been a load of fish there. So we're shipping out. I'm just fishing about 11 metres out there, in line with a stump on the far bank. I don't know whether you can see that. And the reason I'm fishing so far is I actually put a plummet on and the bottom of the slope's about 8 metres. So I'm just on that flat bottom after the bottom of that near side slope. Lowering the rig down, I think you can see that there, just to make sure the whole thing goes down in a straight line. I've got a couple of back shot just above the float, and that just helps me to keep it dead steady, so I know that float's dead over where my feed's been going. As I say, I've not been putting bait in every chuck. I've been being a little bit more shy with it than that, just basically because I know there's quite a few fish present, so there's no point overfeeding. There's actually a fish on there, or there was. That was a nice bite. You see that lift bite? There's either a fish on or a line bite, but as you saw, I just lifted the rig out rather than giving it a big strike. And that's important. The last thing you want to be doing is giving a big strike with this kind of fishing, because you'll just end up foul looking fish, or worse, striking your bait off your hook and having to come back and do it all again. So we're just waiting for a positive bite and then we're just lifting up basically. And if the fish has got the bait in its mouth, it will be hooked. So while we're fishing, I'm going to give you your weekly fishing forecast. And to be honest, it's good news really, folks. Good news for tomorrow anyway. It's a little bit cooler tonight. We're looking at temperatures of between sort of 0 and 4 degrees. So we're not in the territory of frozen lakes, but it's going to be cool. But obviously we've had some nice mild temperatures through the week, so I don't think, oh that's on, only a little fish mine, I don't think that we're in danger of frozen lakes, but I think the fishing could be a little bit tough. It's just a little roach, look, bless him. The fishing could be quite tough tomorrow, early on in the day. Because it's mild, because it's sort of 8 degrees, as we go through the day, I think the fishing should actually be quite good. The water temperature's quite warm, it's not too bad, and I actually do think it'll be quite good fishing a lot of places. Heading on commercial venues again with that cold night, we're going to have to start quite cagily, so I'm sort of thinking, you know, you might want to be feeding gingerly via a kinder pot if you're fishing in open water. If you've got some feature to dob up to, like an island or anything like that, then I think think you want to probably start off dobbing and just see what's there. But as I said, it's certainly not as cold as it has been. The water's not as cold as it has been, so I think that on the whole you can expect better fishing. And certainly as you move into the afternoon and the water warms up on commercials, you'll be able to feed a little bit of bait and definitely catch a few fish on the pole. Don't go too gung-ho, obviously. I'm sort of talking feeding maybe, you know, 20 or 30 bits of bait at the absolute most. I'd probably be looking to kick the peg off with much less than that, more like, you know, 5 or 6 bits of bait. And if the fish are feeding well, you can step things up. Certainly not a day for the big pot. You saw what I did there, just sprinkled in a few micros, and that's what I think you should be doing really the majority of places tomorrow. Sunday is milder, but we do have the problem of quite a lot of rain coming in, so might not be the pleasantest day to be out on the bank. That being said, oh, that's a nice little indication. That being said, because we've got the mild weather and because it's been fairly mild through Saturday, all the way across the UK, I think Sunday will be a great day to be out fishing for the time of year. There'll be a lot of fish caught. Canals, you know, I think again the mild temperatures will mean that most fish have a little go. Make sure you head to those built up areas because clear water and predation will still be a factor. And river wise, I'd probably steer clear of your little spate rivers or anything that's liable to come up too quickly on Sunday, obviously because of that rain, so might well find that the rivers are shooting up. But if you check out the EA River Levels website, which I've mentioned on here before, that'll give you a good idea of what's going to happen on your local river over the weekend, so you can keep an eye on that, and that'll tell you what you need to know. Again, we're just being dead patient, waiting for a proper bite. There we are. No. Check that old bait's still on. I'm going to catch you one more, folks, and then I'm going to sign off and wish you all the best for the weekend. A couple left in the pot there, so we'll put a tiny bit more feed in. Hold that rig out till we know we're down at the bottom, and then lower it down roughly with the feed. Obviously a lot of fish. Oh, that was a nice bite. A lot of fish coming into the peg. It's just about being patient and wait until we hook one now. Hopefully you can see that flow. It's quite dotted down, which I do like when there's a lot of sort of shy biting fish like skimmers. The downside of that is it does show up every indication, so it is worth just waiting until you get a proper pull under and there's a fish on. There we are. Oh, and that's a better fish as well. Oh, that's a carp. Could actually be a carp, that. Not very happy, whatever it is. Hook lengthwise, I have stepped up ever so slightly because I know there's some good fish in here. Normally I'd be on 010 maybe on a venue like this where you've got a mixed head, but I've actually put 011 on just so that I've got half a chance. This isn't a massive fish, I don't think. Certainly a nice fish to finish fishing live on, I think. Very angry characters though, folks, I will say that much. Oh, it's one down the edge. Generally the bottom's quite clear, there we are. Oh. Tell you what, that's got to be one of the prettiest fish I have caught. I would say this year, it could be ever. Let me just hold him up for you. Look at the colours on that. What a gorgeous fish. Linear carp, hooked actually right in the side of the mouth. Look at that, right in the corner. Look at him. Well, there you are, folks. Have a wonderful weekend on the bank, and I'll see you next week.